Really sorry about that. I would take out in the edit. No one will ever know apart from all the people watching. So, right, I'll try again. Okay, welcome back. Croeso to Britain's Hidden History, number 108. And I said it would never last. Take it away, Leon. Hey, for the second time. Right, wow, so many viewers, brilliant. Highest ever at the start of the show. Thank you very much. Well done, Nigel James, first on. Hello indeed, yes, and Laurie. Hello, Laurie. Gary Taylor, all regulars there, good to see it. If you're new to this, it's looking at the history we're taught is not what the real history was. And we're looking to find out what the real history was, what used to be taught, what used to exist, and what the evidence shows us, most importantly. Lots of site visits and famous writers, particularly Wilson and Blackett. And yesterday was Alan Wilson's 90th birthday. Whew. So I'm a little bit all over the place. I just got back from Newcastle, so it's loads of good content. So please bear with me. It might be a little bit all over the place in places. Right, Ron P. More questions. Love questions, okay? Where does the word England come from? Could it be as simple as the land of the angels that they have spun into angles? Well, the official story is that one of the bishops saw a little blonde girl or boy in the slave market with a pretty blonde hair. He went, oh, it's so pretty, it looks like an angel. And that's how the angles got their name, which to me sounds, quite ridiculous. There you go, that's the official story. Wilson and Blackett would say that the most populous tribe in the... Thank you, Leon. Thank you. Oops, sorry, I don't think I thanked Leon. Oh, it was very good as well. Oh. And yes, thank you, Leon. Oh, yeah, he's still smiling. It's all right. We're all a bit tired. It's been a lot of driving. It's a long way from here to Newcastle and back. And we've had a busy few days. We'll come on to that in a second, the party. Anyway, about the angels, what Wilson and Blackett show, the most populous tribe, which could have been many millions would have been, the Iceni, they're usually called. Queen Boadicea's bunch, Boudica, but the Ickinglass, the full name, Kinglass, English, Kinglass, English, English. And that's where it comes from. And the language is a lot more ancient. And as I think Hugh Evans or someone pointed out in the comments there's just a few boatloads of angles as opposed to millions of people already on the island. So it seems very unlikely that England or English is named after angles, and the whole thing about them looking like angels and someone going, oh, look, they're like angels. So apparently that would mean they didn't even call themselves angels or angles. So none of it makes sense to me. But there again, we see law things not making sense. Because the day before yesterday, we're all the way up on Hadrian's Wall, or bits of it. Is it Hadrian's Wall at all? Is it even a wall? Is it Roman? It's some very weird stuff. So we can have a little look at that a bit later, okay? I'll show you some pictures from there. Hugh Evans, evening all. Happy birthday, Alan Wilson. Your dad in 2 weeks' time. Brilliant. Both evacuated to family in Wales during the war. Yes, I mean, Alan went from Cardiff to West Wales. And this was a key part of this whole saving of Welsh history, or British history actually, because it's most of it ends up in Wales, because that's where the records were kept, and also the situation in England was completely destroyed. So you still have to go for Welsh, but don't think this program's only about Welsh or Wales. Like for example, today there's no Wales in it. I don't think. We're going Hadrian's Wall. We're going north. We're going up. All right. So but the key thing was, because he got evacuated during the war, all the young men, the young teachers, were off fighting and doing their bit for king and country, and they got older teachers back out of retirement, and some of these in their 60s and 70s, and they didn't give a monkeys about syllabuses, passing exams. I doubt there even were any proper syllabuses at that point, and they would teach the old history. And I was discussing this. Oh, and I do apologise, someone in the comments last week said, ask Alan about the teacher. I did write the name down, Blythe, I think his name was. He's a part of the story because he passed on a lot of the history and where to go and the books and all this kind of stuff. So if it hadn't been for the evacuation and the war and Alan having family in a particular place in West Wales, which is dripping in ancient history, then none of this would have happened. As I always say, their proper Welsh or British history was hanging on by its fingernails at the top of the cliff when Wilson and Blackett came along in the 80s and grabbed it and dragged it back up again. And now it's our job to keep it going to the next generation. And the exciting thing was, we did have some next generation, because Arnie and my boys were there up with Alan, and I was trying to work it out. That teacher from World War II must have been born around about 1860s or 1870s. I talked to Alan, he wasn't quite sure, but but he reckoned he must have been at least mid-60s when the war kicked off in 1939. So he's probably born 1870s or even 1860s. And then we got the next generation, youngsters now, so between 11 and 13 years old. So by the time they're 80, that'll be another 60 odd years. Gosh, we'll be into the 2070s. So, I mean, you'll have covered over 200 years just in 2 transmissions of information. And that's how powerful oral tradition can be. 2 generations, you've just covered 200 years. It's not every 22 years if you think about it. All right. Wow, loads of people on. Brilliant. Welcome aboard to first time. Could be confusing, but who am I trying to kid? It always is. So there we go. Evening, Kenneth Mackey. Some more questions would be good. Gavin Lloyd. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Yeah, just to remind everybody, that's from YouTube, not me. It's a Sunday evening family show, so keep it polite, keep it friendly. It's all very positive here. Different opinions are fine. If you think something is nonsense, well, feel free to say so and be constructive, though, you know. No swearing and that kind of stuff. Hello, Leggy. Hello, Lego, sorry. Robert. Yes, Kyra, the campaign continues. And yes, and I'll show you about the petition that, Rob, and I think that's what you need to do in Kyra as well, okay? Right, the great man, Amal-O-Heed. Yes, the great man, Amal-O-Heed, which means he's still here. My goodness, I can't keep up with all the comments. This is hundreds and hundreds. Right, I'll do my best to say hello to a few more people. Graham, hello. Thank you very much. Thank you. Graham King and Tara looking after us so well because we stopped halfway up on the way up in Nottingham and had an evening there with our good friends, well, near Mansfield, I suppose. Very interesting place called Walesby. And we're going to do more about that soon, about the connections there. I met some locals in the pub and they looked after us. The whole thing was brilliant. Yeah, sorry about the no sound. We're going back a bit. Pembroke Happis from Andrew. Monica, yeah, we got your call from Germany. That was very exciting. Had a bit exciting to it all. Johnny Nigma, former mayor of Brecon. And I have got on my list, top of my list here, to get the Brecon video up. And he very kindly showed me around the scenes. Yes, sound and normal service resumed now in a minute. See, non-Welsh people might not get the joke there. That's going to be happening now in a minute. All right, that's a very Welsh thing. Thank you for that, Johnny. I did spot it. Hello, Brad. Yeah, a great chat with Brad as well. So more of that coming up. Michelle, Ennard's World. Oh, that's Leon. I was working now. The sound's working. Rachel, brilliant. All the way from the Middle East. Wow, it's brilliant. Anglia in Germany sounds nothing like British English. Thank you, Ron. Shemai Ali in Broadstock. Shemai, Rachel. I hope everything's going well. Right, David Apreece. Hello, Broadsword. Hello, Danny Boy. Yes, wow. Right, Taliesin, Scarab City, Susan. Right, loads and loads of people. Julian, brilliant. Okay, right, I have to move on now. We've got loads of people, the highest number at this stage watching, so that's great. Right, now where do we start? 'Cause there's so many things happening. How about we go straight into the birthday? Hang on, this might be a bit loud. I'll just give you a little clip. Now, Bob was doing a brilliant job photographing, and he has got back and just sent me the photographs, like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes ago, okay? And I haven't seen them yet. So we're going to browse through those together, all right? And then, so bear with us. If you're not massive Wilson and Blackett fans, and you're watching this on playback or something, look in the bottom, and I'll put some of those number things in, and you can click to jump forward to the bit you want, like the Hadrian's Wall bit will be the star feature, or the bit about St. Kenneth, whatever it is you want to watch. Anyway, here we go. So there's a scene. It's quite a small affair. We have a little nice private table. Real good researchers working on this. We're in the City Tavern in Newcastle. Hope this isn't too loud. I don't want to deafen everybody. Let's just turn it down a little bit, because sometimes I play videos. Happy birthday to you. Bob was downstairs. He was photographing everything. There we are. There's Alan looking very happy. Here goes Bob. So look, I got my phone up quickly. Blow him out, Al. Come on. Go on, Al. You can do it. Yeah. Go on, Bob. Yay. He was still looking fit, strong, and well. I tell you, it was great. We had such a good time, and it was so good to see him so happy. And I went out with Tony. Is so painfully shy. It's difficult. So we went out. Me, Arnie, and him went out to the gentleman's meal a couple of nights before, didn't we, Arnie? So we went out to very nice. We went out for a steak, the three of us. He has broken his toe, so that's a good. I won't say excuse. Good reason. Oh yeah, thank you, William. Hinting for my biscuits. I feel like as a tramp. I loved your biscuits. And he sent me more, so here we are. They have arrived. I can promise, if you hear a crunching sound, it's not my microphone, it's me eating those, okay? Right. Ross, have there been more findings about Arthur's connection to Scandinavia, mutual travels and so on? No, that is a brilliant question. And I'll make a note of that for next week, because one of the things we've been looking at is always assumed, there's this weird thing in British history, everything comes into Britain, nothing ever goes out. We look at the British records, they talk about Arthur going up to Scandinavia and Arctic region, across to Greenland. There's stories I'm really trying to find, medieval accounts of, you call them Britons really, who'd been on Greenland for hundreds of years and sent a commission to the King of Norway in the 1200s, looking for recognition, this kind of thing. So it's always assumed if you find something in Britain and Scandinavia, it must have come from Scandinavia to Britain. Whereas, in fact, the reverse could be true. So thank you for the reminder on that. I do need to get cracking. And thanks also for the person who sent me a reminder to do the family tree. The trick they're using is DNA. Do people seriously think they can tell the difference between English, Scots, Irish and Welsh? I'm not really into DNA. Right, I thought it was Severus Snape, David Church, built the wall to keep the Giantes out of Hogwarts. See, that's it, really. I mean, that's the presentation done. He's covered it all. We got the Pembroke, Happisy, Allen. Now then, in a minute or later. Yeah, it'll be right now in a minute, okay? Greetings from Portsmouth. Hello, Rick. DNA's false. Yeah, I'm not convinced about DNA, but there you go. I reckon the Vikings returned here, having originated in Britain, they possibly earlier from Anatolia or Troy. Yeah, we are going to go back into the Trojan War in Britain book again. I've got to find Great Deception. I mislaid my copy during moving house. So that's really frustrating. Anyway, right, let's go back on to... let's have the birthday photo, shall we? Should we do the fun stuff first? It's all fun. I'm running on adrenaline. If I feel it's a bit weird, I'm going to collapse any second. We stayed, just to let you know, stayed in... don't let all arrive, there's 5 of us. And the rest of my family hadn't met Alan and Tony before, so they had a little bit new. So we thought, right, okay, we'll get Airbnb just down the road, and we'll do it that way, all right? And we get everything prepared. So we need extra beds next time we go up there and actually we need to spend more time with them. They do need, some help looking after and, transferring this knowledge before it's all gone, without being too, well, you know what I mean? As Alice says, you've got to be realistic, haven't you? You've got to be realistic, Anyway, there's some wonderful pictures. Oh, hang on a second. Let's go back to picture 1. Like I said, I haven't seen these either. Can you see them on screen yet? There's Arnie, I was suspicious like you got a beer in your hand there. This is not the 1970s, Children can't drink pints anymore. It's not allowed, okay? Whatever Alan Wilson says to you, by the way, he was on top form, man. He put away quite a few pints. We turned up for lunch originally, 1 o'clock. So by the time we ate, probably 1:30, 2, something like that. There you go, the biscuits. I'll never see those again. And Alan went for till 8 o'clock. Well, it was 7. 6.5 hours, man, drinking pints, eating things, and kept everyone enthralled. It's just brilliant. Everyone got a chance to spend time having a one-to-one with Alan. And what was sad, one of those happy, sad things about it was you could see the longer he spent talking to people, the more he came to life and the happier he was. And by the end of the evening, he was on super form. And then we took him back, and when we went to go home, he was, that was very emotional, really. So I'm going to go back up again soon, and everyone got on great. And he certainly likes Angie. So we're going to go back, all right? So there's Arnie, not drinking at all. There's Dave. There's some interesting pictures of... he looks a bit... I think it must be early in the evening. He looks a bit tired, isn't he? Plus it's at the end. Yeah. See, stills don't bring the life and charisma of the man, do they? But... there he is, talking to Steve, having a pint. One of many. Steve's going through all the stuff about the burial sites. If you haven't seen that book where Jesus is buried, this is where Alan Wilson and Blackett, they worked out where the story is, very briefly indeed, after the crucifixion, as described in the Bible, Jesus was not dead, he was wandering around, and he had to escape the Romans and all that, if it was Romans, and he ended up in Britain. Who keeps sending me messages? Hang on a second. Oh no, Arnie, can you unblock Luke, please? Luke says he's still blocked from commenting.
What?
If you just... Luke, if you could message your thing through, must have said something in the past. Luke, we're going to do our interview as well. Luke's finished his law exams, so we can do a bit more on that as well. Anyway, you have to go to the account or something and look for the block people, and then it gives you a list somewhere. I don't know. I'm bluffing. No, you go. Are you booked? Are you logged in as me? Are you logged in as admin?
I'm logged in as me.
I got you in as admin. All right. Sorry, Luke. I thought we'd fixed it. I thought we'd freed you back up. Right. Anyway, so there's a mistake on that. Okay, I'm only teasing about him being blocked. It was a mistake. Right. So after the crucifixion, Jesus walking around, he flees to Britain, and the Holy Family comes to Britain, which is where the story takes place. Of course, his mortal body, as Alan says, if you want to be polite about it, was buried for the second time or reburied in Britain. So you got the whole story about how Christianity started in Britain. It's all in this book, where Jesus is buried, who Jesus really was, his dynastic family tree, the royal family, who his wife, more importantly, well, not more importantly, but sorry, let's get this watch off. As importantly, was whose descendants were. Now they married into the British royal family, which is why all these saints everywhere, all around Wales. You've got Saint this, Saint that, Saint Athens, Saint Tudric, because they're holy blood, and that's how he became a saint. So they got some. I don't know how many pictures there are. There's Teacher Dave. Good to see him. There's Alan signing a book. Yeah, there's Leon. Oh, it's great. Oh, great picture of Dave there, Dave Hooper. He's been a stalwart supporter, and he helped organise this. And I want to say the people of the City Tavern, Lloyd, looked after us. We're brilliant. We were really well looked after. It was fantastic. So let's go on and flick through these. Look at the pictures. Oh, there we are. Just a few from Bob to get us going, because he hasn't been back very long. There we are outside. I think that's the last one on this. There we go. Thank you, Bob, for rushing those through. There's more to come. I know there's loads more. He took hundreds. Richard took hundreds. Right. The Eglois petition has passed 250 signatures, so it will be discussed by the Senate Petitions Committee. Yes, thank you, Richard. What were the Vikings and Viking about? I don't know too much. I think they're exaggerating because they're good fun and exciting. I was taught to Viking meant to go adventuring, to go off on a mission, well, not a mission, a raid, that kind of thing. I'll be a wise choice you make there. Oh no, what choice have I made? Right, British people are long-headed. I can't help you understand. You're on your own path. I'm not interfering with that. Oh, sorry, I've jumped into something. Right, I'm going to get back to the presentation anyway. I showed the video of Alan singing Happy Birthday. Right, where's my presentation gone? I'm all over the place. Right, Alan's birthday. Right, okay. Wow, hang on. Yes, Arnie, what's happened?
What's the email for your YouTube?
What?
It's not here. What's the email?
Oh, sorry, Luke. I thought we'd done it. You have to wait till next week. I can't stop the whole thing. Sorry, but I know Luke will be passing on his best to Alan.
Email.
You know my email address, doesn't he?
No, I haven't got it.
Oh, for that account? It'll be the...
Oh, okay. Alright.
That one, yeah?
I'm good.
Right, okay. Right, all right, now then. Okay, Charlie John, thank you very much. Right, yes, now, Claire. I hope Claire's watching. I hope she'll watch it at some point. If you remember, we went to the Magic Castle. I'm not going to read all this out now. You can stop and read it yourself. I'll find the links and put them up. But there are a lot more information. Hang on just quickly. You can read that at your own leisure, okay? If you remember the Magic Castle, we say there's no record of it. There's a lot of information about it. But what is fascinating to me about it, you think, oh, well, they know everything about it, therefore, all the excitement's gone. We thought we'd found something new and all that. But if you look at it, they don't know anything. They absolutely don't know anything. Everything's probably 13th century, 14th century. And you have to remember these things have to get moved back so they can be Norman. If they make them too early, they might be British. I've read through all these, right, and a few other reports. Thank you, Charlie. A couple of other people have sent me some things. They described the building not much different to what we did. One information I did get, though, and I do apologise, I haven't had a chance to get some more information about it. It's got a name. It is a scheduled monument, so don't go there digging it up or anything. You could get into trouble, okay? But having read through all the information I can find, CADW, scheduled monuments, all this kind of thing, it's described as a fortified manor house, but not even that is certain. One thing was interesting, if you remember from the video, the castle had this massive wall which seemed more modern than the rest, cutting the building in half. And I've got to find the person who sent it. A very plausible explanation is that they just got too big to heat these things. The money it cost was a fortune, so you just blocked off half of it, which is why the wall is behind the fireplace. So you've only got to heat half the castle as times got more difficult and they ran out of money. But if you go through all that, please have a look when you get a chance. You'll find it's nothing more than a description. They don't know anything. There's no records of who built it, when it was built, or anything. And I think it's well worth more exploration. And if you haven't seen it yet, please have a look at the Magic Castle. Another one sent in then, so this is roughly where it is. You've got to do a little bit of work if you want to find it, and make it too easy. So what is this? Because we thought it was this really weird glyph. It does look like it, doesn't it? Rather unfortunately, hang on. Gotta mention that as well. Rather unfortunately, it's a dirt track race track for motorbikes. Claire went up there and had a walk around and checked it out, and his motorbike's whizzing around. Curiously, there's the same thing next to the Lionstone as a motocross track. So I don't know if this does signify anything. It's an interesting sort of shape, isn't it? Maybe if anyone wants to have a play with it, turn it upside down, all that kind of thing. Who knows? Right. Yeah, getting back to... I hope we've... yes, on.
It's not.
Sorry, mate. Hang on. Did you put the Google password in there?
No, this is the email, not the password. No, this is the email.
Yeah, I know.
You can't just put the password in the email a bit.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I'll do it next week, Arnie. Don't worry. Let's go back to the show, okay? Right. Oh, yeah. The reply from the Twyn Hywel team. This is about the, if you don't know about it, they're going to put these 200-metre high turbines, wind turbines, like a power station on top of Eglwys, which is like such an important historical site. It's this crackly thing we got annoying everybody. It's not meat and biscuits, okay? It was some spare pens. All right, promise. Where's the biscuits?
Pardon?
Where's the biscuits gone? No, don't give me the biscuits. Yeah, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me on. It's the middle of the show. Thank you again, William. Right. What am I doing? Oh, yeah. Right. They will... So this is the latest update I've had from them. I think anybody else who sent in comments or questions also received this. I would like to add they have still not replied about where the roads and the cabling will go. So if you're not aware, Eglwys, they've got these standing stones and recumbent stones which form a star map of the whole thing. You can see how that all works. It's all there. If the stones get moved around, it's useless. We can't tell anything. And then there's these other stones where they've got the ancient cups in them, carved into them, which makes the Bronze Age or even earlier. Incredibly valuable. We've also got reports that there's a buried abbey. There's also a very ancient church that needs excavating. The monastery has been excavated. It's supposed to be in 1926, but we can't find the reports. Which is strange in itself, because that seems pretty convincing it did happen. So all these things need protecting. And please, if you watch my video, if you think, well, that's the price we have to pay to save the planet. If it was saving the planet, I'd agree with you. I see, I just want to get too political for the channel gets shut down. Enough trouble with history. But these wind farms do not help anything. And by the time all the stuff's being moved from halfway around the world to build them, and the trucks and the roads and the hardcore and the quarrying, and then everything after 20 years gets landfilled, they are a disaster. It's a con, right? Tell you what it is. So right, this is what you need to do. This week, look at this. The usual massive notification and warning. These are the dates for the next one. So I will be there Wednesday, 15th of June. That's this week. All right? 3 days' time. WWII. I'm going to try and get to both. But I'll be at that one, WWII, or Kilfynydd Rugby Club on Thursday. Please, if you come along, please do. Also, please keep sending in the information requests. Say where the road's going, because they're going to be, for the 200-metre turbines, the ones you see everywhere, you think, they're bad, but they're not terrible. They're 70 metres. These are going to be 200 metres. And the platforms for the cranes, I'm going through the whole thing again. Please send a message and say, where's the roads going? Because I can't see how they can put them in without disturbing the dikes and the stones and everything. And the same with the cables. How they get the power they generate off the hill into the grid. It has to go, you'll see the videos we've done this. There's more to come, lots more videos. But it's now, right? This is happening now. This is the point. You've got this week and next week. After which, consultation over, and we're just going to have to be sitting watching. Apart from the petition, which I should be in there. Blinking neck, I haven't put it in the description yet. But if you go to any of the last few videos, you'll see it there. Go and sign it. I'll tell you what, let's have a quick detour, because I'm curious to see, because I've been away. I'd like to see what we're on. The best way to do this. I'll tell you what, you can watch, you can follow me. All right, I go to YouTube. And we go to this channel. Britain's Hidden History Ross. There's me doing my song, which seems to get on very well. Yeah, Britain's Hidden History Ross. Sorry, there we go. Right, and here's Save Egloy still in common.
0.0.
And you can feel all about it, right? That's the 1,000 turbines. Britain's out of the whole world is 10 of them, and you know, by the time you take up the natural stuff, the Welsh putting a wind farm on there will save, I think it's about 1 in 800,000th of the total amount of CO2, if CO2 makes a difference anyway. All right, so let's go and see how the petition is doing. All right, we're on 316, so that's good. So 250 means, now the main objective of this, if it's got more than 250 signatures, it will be discussed by the petitions committee. All right, so it will get discussed. What we'd really like to do is get to 10,000 signatures and have it as a full debate in the Senedd. So take this link. What you want to do is take that link, just highlight it, right-click, copy, and then email it, social media, whatever you do, tell everybody, okay? And let's see how many signatures we can get this thing to. All right? Okie dokie. Right, hang on. I can feel the fatigue starting to hit. Yeah, sign the petition. There we go. Okay. This one we covered in a... there's a video about this one as well. Ancient Roman road found in Wales. Maybe the route taken by builders of Stonehenge. How are we doing for time? No, it's not going to go through it all again now. But it's just typical. There's a bit of flat earth, which looks like it might be a road. So it's automatically a Roman road. It's just... actually, this would be a little introduction. This wouldn't be a bad introduction for them. I think I can do control thingy there, can't I? You going to take me there? Yeah. Is what the bit I want to show you, because it's going to tie in with Hadrian's Wall. So there we go. They don't know anything about it. You can watch the programs, whatever you like. This bit makes me laugh. The road's up to 5 meters wide and follows straight routes in typical Roman fashion. They seriously think that if a British person or any non-Roman was going to build a road between there and there, they're going to put some wiggles in just for fun. It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. And it's not flat anyway, straight anyway, by the way. But look at this. So we've got this Mark Merony thinks the route, not the road, mind you, the route may date back even further. He said this is an ancient route that was in use in the Roman period. See, that statement, I can go with that. An ancient route used in the Roman period, probably improved by the Romans. Probably not, actually, because it's right over in West Wales, and it's highly unlikely the Romans ever got anywhere near the place. Do you know what the controversy is about, though? It could well be the same route. They took the bluestones down to Stonehenge, and I've been looking at the mainstream arguments about this article. No one's arguing about the Roman thing. Everyone's arguing about, no, it went by water, no, it went by land, and it's all about this. That's what they found, right? Just so you know. It hasn't been excavated or anything. It's like, my God, there's an ancient road. In the Preseli Hills in West Wales, where they had been going back and forth with these massive stones, which they obviously dragged through the mud because they're incapable of making a road. But the bit I want to show you, which is really funny. Oh, Mike Parker Pearson. I know, they were up to the Wine Mound. I got a video on that, trying to get Robin Heath out again. He's a hero on this kind of thing, a hero of mine. Then you got the waterways thing. See, this is where the argument goes. It's a distraction. Accept the Roman thing without any question. And then we're going to have the argument whether it's water. This is a new article. Thank you for this article. I hadn't seen this one. What I really want to see, though, is the quote. I'm sure it's in here as well. And there's old MPP. Where's he gone? Yes, in the comment. I knew it would be here because this is... I've got to say, I know I did a video already on this, but it's so funny. I think they'll go crazy in Wales over this because it's pushing the Roman presence more across Pembrokeshire. There's this perception that the Romans didn't go very far in Wales, but actually they were all over Wales. So it's actually, just when you think we're winning and showing that it's like a Roman era, not everywhere was Roman, and hey, there's something here that the British could have done. No, the exciting news is the British didn't do it. They didn't do anything. It was Roman, whatever Roman means, okay? I'm starting to get to the stage I'm starting to wonder if there even was Romans. I think we're talking about contact between Britain and the Etruscans. Nothing even to do with the modern city of Rome, if you want to call it that. All right, give me 1 second. Too many things open. I can't find it. Right, here we go. Slideshow. Resume slideshow. Oh, I didn't know I had a resume slideshow button. There we go. All right, so that's the kind of thing we're up against. Now, what I think, when we get on to, thank you again for Capitalicious for this, for the idea for this cartoon. Hang on, can you not see it? Should be able to see it. God, the lag's enormous. Mike Pierce says they went up with A40. Yeah, Mike's a real genius on how to move large stones. Yeah, the other comment, which wasn't on that article, which I loved, was the Oxford University expert said, oh yeah, it must be Roman, right? Because this would require hundreds of people to do, and coordination, and the Normans didn't get there. So as it's not Norman, de facto, by default, it must be Roman. Hilarious, isn't it? It must be remembered that the Romans built over many British sites. Well, did they? Did they at all? Did they at all? Regarding the wall, this was the norm rather than the exception to the rule, according to some Silchester as a case in point. They could have done, they might not have done anything at all, the Romans. I mean, and also, if you got let's say, if this, here we go, let's, I'm going to use centimetres. I don't like centimetres, I like metric, but there we go. I mean, I like imperial. I'll try and demonstrate here. This is a 30 centimetre ruler, all right? So if we say, sake of argument, the road goes back, well, they reckon these roads are at least 500 BC. They're well previous. Well previous, is my London coming out there. They're well previous, mate, to the Romans. So we'll start on the number 5, all right? So 10 is the year 0, for want of a better word. This is AD. And every one of these is going to be 100 years. 100 years, all right? So 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000, all up to 2000 AD, roughly where we are now, okay? So that's the lifespan of this road. And the Romans might have been on this road between 100 and 200. So that little bit there would have been the Romans. We'll give them 200 years. Let's give them 300 years. You know, I'll be really generous, give them 300 years. So all of that, including the building of the road, is British or non-Roman. This little bit is Roman, so let's call it Roman. You know what I mean? It's like bonkers, isn't it? Why this obsession with Romans? It's like a fetish. And this fetish is shown really, really well at this one. So it's a really cool segue, and like the video just appears like magic. There's that's not going to happen like that, is it? Come on, Ross! Quick! Hang on. I'll do a quick segue now, and immediately the video starts like this. I put a little video together. Here we go. Phew. Right, what's the volume? Hang on. Let's pause a second. Right, now, I just got back. I've not edited the video or anything. Well done to Leon for the volume's right, for filming everything. I'm going to... this is just a bit from the end, just to give you an idea, okay? And I can have a sip of my tea and eat one of these lovely biscuits. How long is it? 4 minutes. Yash. Another thing that strikes me as really strange about this, okay? There's just a bit down from the Fort House Dids, which if you want to go and see that, I have to pay, £10 each, family ticket £26, all that kind of thing. And this signage and it's all preserved while the Romans lived, how they wiped their bums after they polluted a lot, right? Everything's there. Also on the signage, it explains that there must have been, they're claiming 800 auxiliaries with a village surrounding it full of people providing all the ancillary services and food and whatever else they needed, which would have been this sort of area around here, okay? And you see lots of bumps, you can see little bits of rocks poking up and where if we're going with this narrative, these people would have lived. What's curious, none of that's excavated. There's no interest at all in the areas that the British are supposed to have lived in. None at all. This Roman fetish and obsession, every sign you see got into all the souvenirs, everything is Roman, 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 Roman. And even their signage admits there must have been a lot of other people living here if their narrative is true at all. But no interest in that. Isn't it weird? Oh, a bit more, Arnie. Oh yeah, sorry. That's why I sort of speak a bit here now. Look at this level part here. Bob pointed this out and spotted it. This is a potential road. There, look. Yeah, I was saying this whole area. I mean, this could be a road here. You've got all these bumps and that with the ancient stones. This would be the ancient town. So this here, right? Just to interrupt myself. It's good, that bloke. Just interrupting now because he's wandering a bit. These bits sticking out and everything, these bumps and all that, this is supposed to be where the people lived. I'm kicking myself. It was a tough climb. I should have gone back up the hill to take a picture of the video, the board, information board visitors, because it showed a nice picture of a pretty square barracks, 800 auxiliaries, blah, 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 and little houses all around it. You know, your Tinker, your tailor, your food, your water, all that kind of stuff. But why is there no interest in that at all? Why is there no interest in the British bits at all? Bizarre, isn't it? No interest at all. Right, okay, sorry, this is going to be really dizzying. All I was doing then, I'm going to just be for another video, we don't need this tonight. This gives an idea of the wall, goes along. The other curious thing is the height of the wall. And it's this low height, alright? So it's clearly not military. And the story is, originally it was 12 feet high. People robbed the stones to make new buildings and that kind of thing. Now, something I want to show, it was on this one, the other part of the video, because there's miles of it. It's all roughly this height, about 4 feet, 5 feet. Totally useless for military. And very easily scaled. And also it's wide, which makes it really difficult to defend. So if you've got a spear or something, you couldn't actually reach to jab the other side. So it gives the attacker jumping up onto it an advantage over you, which is not the idea of a war. Not for military purposes anyway. Now, there's some, yes, it would be good to take some high resolution photos from a drone at good height. Yeah, why is it no interest in that area, isn't it? Anyway, I've got a lot more to say about this, so let's jump around a second. The other half of the video, I'll probably need to load that up as well. So hang on, I just want to, I do want to show that wall just a little bit more. Hang on. So if you look at this wall, you think, and this is a modern wall, by the way, they're not that different. All right, and you'll see a few clips. I'll put the full video up during the week. So my thinking at the time, and I'll try and find the video, so I have to edit everything back together again, but it's difficult. So I haven't had the time today. Okay, welcome back to Britain's Hidden History, me Ross. And on the theme of everything's Roman, here we are at the heart of everything's Roman, which is Hadrian's Wall. I can't see any mention so far that it was built 100 years after the reign of Hadrian. Right, this is the other thing, okay? There's no mention anywhere on the boards. You walk up here, there's a visitor centre, but the place called Housesteads, if you haven't been up there. Bob knew the way around, thank goodness. I was lost as usual. So you go up there, and you have this bit you have to pay to go to the Roman bit. £10 an adult to see some excavations, whereas the British bits and everything else are free. Alright? I just want to jump forward a bit here, so I don't get too dizzy. Oh, I'll tell you what, actually, just watch a little bit of Bob's brief, because Bob's so good at explaining everything. So there'll be a voice over here when the final video comes out, okay? As you can see, this is on the way up to the museum and the visitor centre. It is stunning scenery. It's well worth a trip. I'm a bit ashamed I'd never been there before.
We're on Hadrian's Wall, about by here.
It's up there, Colicum.
Yeah, which is Housesteads.
Okay, right.
The Housesteads Roman fort. And then over here you've got Roman.
So where's the path of the wall?
The wall runs along here. Right, and so we're almost like a kilometre and a half the other side of the wall, and you've got the Roman aqueduct courses there, and there's this little dotted line, and it follows the contours round, and you pick it up.
All right, in case you missed that, this is above the Roman wall. A lot of information I want you to remember, because I'm going to go through in a minute. There's going to be a lot of Wikipedia tonight, because I don't have time to get all the books out, but I can't see any controversy really over Hadrian's Wall for the mainstream line. If there is, I apologise. Please send me the nuances I've missed, or Wikipedia has missed. You'll get the basic idea, alright? So the wall's down here. Why is there a Roman aqueduct the wrong side of the wall? I mean, well spotted, Bob. We definitely need to go up there. We need to go over the wall, like the Lost Legion, Lost Eagle.
Again there, Roman aqueduct, and it follows the contours round, but it's a kilometre and a half.
Is that the wrong side of the wall?
The wrong side of the wall, so that's a little bit mysterious, though I suppose if the Antonine Wall is further that way,
They must have built it quickly.
It must have built it in the period between the two walls.
Yeah, which is a pretty short period. Alright, so there's the bit over there. Somewhere over there, there's this so-called Roman viaduct. The wrong side of the wall. It's quite curious, isn't it? Nice to go up there and have a look sometime.
Lots of effort's going to these parts.
So there's more of the wall if you haven't been up there, okay?
No, that is
So it's
Hadrian's
pretty
Wall.
insignificant,
Oh,
right?
that's it. Yeah.
Well,
Oh, right,
pathetic,
thank you.
really. But we do note the thing on the top, and then you'll see in the video I'll put up an idea. I'm going to get hold of Robert Langdon again. So Robert, if you're watching this, he thinks this was a canal. He means the water's this deep, by the way. We know if the water was deep, all the water would gush to the bottom of the hill, all that kind of stuff, all right? I still can't get my head around his theory. Neither can Bob. We are going to meet up at Wansdyke, have a few pints, and I think we're going to get accommodation for the night, and there's going to be a wager. If he can make the water stay on the hill, we'll drag something up a hill. Beers on us, otherwise beers on him. I'm rubbish, but Bob can drink a few. And he lives nearby as well. All right, so that's going to be, it's good, you're allowed to disagree, all right? So anyway, you'll see more about this going up there. There's one bit I want to jump to. So I've sort of just edited together in a rough sense. Right, okay, let's watch a little bit of this bit. Right, this is supposed to be some sort of fortress or something. Right, Bob will explain now. Oh, you couldn't see the entrance, but you see the entrance in a minute.
Okay, the point about this as a gateway is, where does it go? Because the edge of the crag is there.
Why would you have a
Doesn't go
gateway
anywhere.
going to the top of the
So
cliff?
on top of the crag.
Yeah, you're on top of the crag, and down there it's quite steep. It's not vertical, but it's really steep. What's the point of having a gateway here? Stonework is formed so as if it is a gateway. But if it's a gateway, I'm not certain
Would it be a
what.
big window, a castle wall or something? Or?
It'd be a big window, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like I said, it doesn't go anywhere, does it?
But it doesn't really lead anywhere.
Although there's a little bit of flat area on the side.
Either way, if you come up here and look,
Look at the
either
stones
way,
closely.
You're just going on the edge of the very steep slope down to the land below. So it's,
Watchtower perhaps? So why would you have this as an impressive gateway, isn't it?
I don't know.
I'd say this gateway doesn't even look
No,
200 years old.
yeah.
Well, you didn't quite hear me say then. And I always like to go to the site the first time that I haven't read anything about it, and just go with my eyes on what I think. See this? This is as you can see, this part of, supposedly it what's the word? Implies there's going to be an arch, and it's on the other side as well. The blocks that curved into the middle, they must have fallen down or something like that. All right. But look at the way they're stuck. Look at the mortar. Look at the style of the stones. You won't become an expert in one go. Neither am I claiming in any way to be an expert. I just want to bear it in mind, because when I looked at this, my first reaction was, that doesn't even look 200 years old. It's like 150 years old. And by the way, I did see the comment about the mud floods. There's a lot to that. I'm not going to go into it now. Martin Leaker's channel covers that in enormous detail, and yes, it is fascinating, and yes, it is difficult to find a hole in it. But let's stick to this a minute, okay?
If you look at all of this is quite well formed. So.
Alright, so these bits here, if you read the guidebook and you went up there and just followed the official information, you would think this is almost 2,000 years old, okay?
I mean, some of it looks quite old, but
All right.
actually none of it looks very old to me.
I'm so proud of myself saying none of it looks very old to me, all right? There's the other half of the arch, okay?
But again, the thing is, if these were actually, and again, when you look at it, it is as if it is designed, because you've got these two big stones here with the, the coin stones on it coming over to form the arch.
Yeah, it's an implied arch at some point, isn't it?
Okay, right, so as I said, I put a full video together on this because it is fascinating. And Bob also walked this back in the 80s, and this is the bit he picked out way back then. And he's like Alan Wilson, he's got all these things, decades of research. So we're going to try and dig out his photos from the 80s, okay? So we can see if anything has changed. Please also check out this wall here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers, right? Plus the earth in the middle. Something weird is going on here. And one of the things I will show in the full video, which we'll get back to, is this thing, it's all we do. Let's go straight to, alright, there's a thing called wide and narrow walls. There is one more bit I want to show. Just so this makes sense. Alright, can you see that? Hang on, let's go back so you can see it. So look at this, these are massive wide walls, right? Hugely wide, if this is a wall. And this, or even to there, that might be the other side of the wall. And that's like 10 feet roughly. And this is on top of a more or less vertical cliff. Well, massive steep crag, alright? Now if we go to the next part of the wall, there look, hang on, see, so you got the certain width. Now this could be the canal, I'm starting to wonder if it's a path, that's what I surmise in the video. But what's fascinating then, you suddenly get this single width, which looks nothing more than a farmer's wall. And what's curious, the bits with no wall, or very thin walls, which you'll see in the video, like here, this is the natural entrance, this is between, because here's a stony drop off. And there's quite a steep bit. So you got the big double walls all the way up on this difficult to build, easily defended terrain. The low part here, you can, with the main, which is links up to the Pennine Way, the main walking thing, you can see walkers there, all in the video. There's just this little single skin wall, which, well, no good for anything, really. You just kick it down, you know. So, what is going on, right? I'm interested to see some views on that, because I'm going to show you now where I think this all goes Billy bonkers, okay? Right, hang on. Okay, I'll just show you in a second, because I was trying to find that blinking, why was I so lazy not walk back up the hill to take that photograph of the information board? So this is the kind of stuff you get in the Roman bit, right? So there's nothing to actually say it's Roman, okay? We can look at the artifacts as well. It's, I remember, before I go into all this, years ago, and I said, amazing discovery, they found some socks on Hadrian's walls, so therefore the Romans wore socks. Not maybe they're British, or more recent, I would add. Alright, so what we got here, so that's the sort of Roman-y bit, and then the town would be around here, and there was an information board which would show how those 800 supposed auxiliaries were supported, right? There's this thing, which might be a well or something, not quite sure. These other buildings going down the hill. Alright. Just bear with me 1 second. Alright, okay. Okay, now, like I said, I don't usually spend much time in Hadrian's Wall, alright? I'm going back up there in a few weeks. On Wikipedia. Alright, so also known as the Roman Wall, Picts Wall, interesting. Or Valum Hadriani in Latin. Well, we're not sure about that either. Defensive fortification of the Roman province of Britannia. Right, began in AD 122 in the reign of the Emperor Hadrian. Now, one of the things I want to go into more detail another time, Alan Wilson shows, and it does come up on Wikipedia, I think at the bottom, you'll see in a minute, is that actually this wall was built by Severus, who, and this gets into the era of British kings. I'm going to do a slight recap for those who might not know this channel so well, or their work. If you go into the playlist, you'll find Myth of a Roman Britain. One of the things is Wilson and Blackett showed the parallel kings. It's shown again in where Jesus is buried, and it first appeared in Arturius Rex Discovered. And the story is, I'll see how this fits in with what it's saying about this, alright? So the story is that their battling was going on between the Britons and the Romans. Alan's more mainstream than me, right? He said there was Romans here and there was an attempted invasion. And anyway, I'm not getting into that now. I'm not like one of these people just has to agree on everything. We're finding research, and their research is brilliant and opens loads of doors. But it's not a cult, alright? Different opinions are allowed in discussion and things. Right, so we have this situation whereby they're battling away for decades and decades and decades, which is why the 400 years thing is nonsense. So it's reaching the stage where it's a bit like Vietnam, where it's just draining, like Vietnam was to the Americans, it's draining the resources of the supposed Roman empires trying to conquer things. Another interesting thing is that Hadrian, if we go to Emperor Hadrian, he didn't have any heirs of his own. Actually, I won't go to all Hadrian now, it's too much. I'm not prepared for that bit. But anyway, check it out yourself. He had no... And this is when he had to find new heirs. Now, the model that Wilson and Blackett have created is that we've got these two related peoples, Romans and Britons. I think it might actually be Etruscans and Britons. And Rome doesn't come into it at all until 1500. Look at the work of Flamenco, people like that. But it doesn't make any difference in this situation. The ones in Italy, whichever bit, whether they're in Florence or Rome, they've been killing each other. They've got no successors, but they're kindred spirits, the ones who were from the same migration. Some went to Etrusca and up to Rhaetia, where Monaco is, and some came round to Britain. They are linked people. They're from the royal line. The British ones have also got the holy blood. Without going into too much detail, if you look at Claudius, one of his daughters married a British king, and then Caradoc's daughter married, one married Prudentius, a Roman officer. They're all intermarrying and everything. They weren't just a bunch of savages. You don't marry your children into savages. It's other royal dynasties. Okay, so what we had then was that Hadrian does a deal whereby he makes an agreement, Caerdydd, Cardiff, City of the Agreement. And the agreement is that stop the fighting now until his death, about 135, and in return, not in return, as part of the deal, the successors will be nominated from Britain. And this is why for the next 200 years or so, the kings, or what are called Roman emperors, are actually British kings. So it gets really fascinating. I like Wilson Blackett's stuff first. But one of the things I want to do a really good job on, a book or definitely a long video, is showing how the dates get moved and the people get moved and how this all works in with Flamenco's work. It's brilliant. I'm so excited. I just can't stop working on it. But we've got to get the Wilson Blackett books out first. So what we have is 200 years of British kings running the empire. Sometimes it's just the western part. Sometimes it's just Britain. Sometimes it's being run actually from Italy. There's the time when there's three empires. There's Eastern and Western. Far more complicated than this great big monolith that we're described in the history books, which was a kind of justification or sop to the English Empire or the British Empire that was being formed in the 18th, 19th centuries, where they were technically superior. Everything was run from a central point, as in London, and then from there they could spread peace and technology and wonderful. They were just super good. Pax Britannica. The Romans were the same. It's not based on anything. It's Gibbons' vision, a lot of this, as you'll see in other videos. Anyway, let's get back to the wall. Right, okay, so Hadrian's Wall. This is where it is. There's the Antonine Wall. So what Alan Wilson says, that and also you find in a minute, that this was just a ditch bank with some wooden forts, if you like, small forts, watchtowers, that kind of thing. Can you just check my messages on there, please? And then later, Severus came along 100 years later and put the walls on, all right? Put the stones on. But that's just, not allowed in the mainstream. Okay. So what I was trying to say here is Hadrian's Wall marked the boundary between Romania, Roman Britannia, and Caledonia. As again, the other thing we have to explain now is why is it aqueducts and stuff the wrong side of Hadrian's Wall? Okay. Anything urgent? Anything urgent? Anything urgent?
No.
Okay. Right, so the length of the wall. Right. See, now this is trying to explain these differences in the wall, right? There's a big twist coming, okay? There's a huge, huge, huge twist coming. My theory I was presenting in the video is not right. One of the things I was showing was, why is the wall exactly the same height? If the idea is it was 12 foot high, and then people nicked loads of stones to build their crofts or barns or wherever it was, their own walls, why would they nick the stones evenly all the way across? They'd nick, You destroy one bit, take all the stones, and the wall will be like this. Piles of rubble and all sorts, right? So why is it not like that? Anyway, so not long... Let's read a bit of this, because it is interesting. Not long after construction began on the wall, its width was reduced from the originally planned 10 feet to about 8 feet, or even less. It doesn't mention the bits you can clearly see where it's just 1 block wide. As some areas were constructed of turf and timber. It would take decades for certain areas to be modified and replaced by stone. The first thing you have to ask is, how do they know all this? You can't date a stone. You can't date a mud bank. It's all guesswork. Now then, Bede, or Beda as Luke says I have to call him, Beda, a medieval historian, wrote the wall. I want to know exactly what Bede wrote, okay? Because I don't think it is what he wrote. I think that's wishful thinking, as you'll see in a minute. So wrote the wall to be standing at 12 feet, 4 metres high, with evidence suggesting it could have been a few feet higher at its formation. The evidence, by the way, seems to be that because the width of the wall, it's that wide to allow for more height to be added. All right, so it's not really evidence, it's more hypothesis. R.S.O. Tomlin argues that along the miles long wall, there would have been a tower every third of a mile. All right? As is evident by the plentiful remains of the turrets. All this is being worked out on what you can see. Same as me when I was going, oh, that looks a bit new and that looks like this. That's all they've done as well, okay? And there's a problem. Right, so Hadrian's Wall went all along these places. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, sorry, comment there. Can dates lichen on the stone? Well, you'll find there's going to be a flaw with that. Because if they've dated those stones by the lichen and they're saying they're almost 2,000 years old, there's a serious problem with lichen dating, as you're about to see. Hadrian's Wall was probably planned before 122. This gets weird because they've got some earlier fragment. Thank you, though. If lichen dating... I don't think it does work in this instance. I'm not convinced it works in any instance, but there we go. It's an attempt. Right, so one comment on the military... According to restored sandstone fragments found in Jarrow, again, not sure how these are dated, it was Hadrian's wish to keep intact the empire. Blah, blah, blah. Right. So it's supposed to be a strong defensive wall. And there's all reasons why he built it and all this kind of stuff. Keeping people out, keeping people in. It's all supposition. It would appear that the wall's primary purpose was as a physical barrier to stop the crossing of raiders and people intent. Alan Wilson would go with this. He'd say it's not strong enough to be military. But if you're going into raid, it would make it slower for you to get stuff out again. Also, if you're charging taxes, if I got a wagon full of gear or I'm driving my sheep, pretty much got to go through the gate, right? How they know it was covered in plaster and whitewashed and the dates, I'm not convinced. Right. Now we go to this broad wall and narrow wall. Now, R.G. Collingwood is an interesting name when he popped up because we come across him before, if you remember. He's the guy who wrote all that nonsense about dating the carved stones and saying that the whole technology was invented in Northumbria, and therefore, then from Northumbria, the technology to carve on stones went to Ireland. So he starts in Northumbria, 900s, and later in Ireland. By the time he comes to Wales, it's like 1100 or something. And all these stones, even though as Alan Wilson shows very convincingly, you've got names of people from the 6th century describing events in the 6th century, get moved to the 11th, get moved back at least 300 years, 500 years, even 600 years, to ridiculous dates that make no sense at all. Collingwood was actually an artist. He was a painter. He drew these things and went, oh, this looks like this. He had no real training or background or anything. And they're still using Collingwood. Because when I quote Collingwood in some of the groups online and stuff, they say, oh, that's years ago. I've got the book here, I've got his books. So I've been reading through it. Well, one book. I think that's all he wrote. So you got some bits are thinner, 60 centimetres, even thinner than that. The narrow sections were found to be built upon broad foundations. So based on this and guessing, really, Collingwood concluded that the wall was originally due to be built between present-day Newcastle and Bowness with a uniform width of 10 feet all in stone. It's all guesswork. Now, what I'd like to know, what I was trying to find out is where's this idea of it being a Roman wall and everything come from? You got Bede and you've got Collingwood's guesses, as far as I can tell. Okay? And when he just comes up with this stuff then, it got narrower, so they're running out of materials, right? They're going to build 10 feet. Oh, running out of stones, let's go with 8 feet. Created the so-called narrow wall. It's all guesswork. And also, if you look at it strategically, it doesn't work. Right, starting to get to the interesting bit. Bear with me, we're almost there, right? Right, just south of the wall. Right, here we go. The vallum. This is interesting, right? The vallum. Just south of the wall, there's a 10-foot, 3-meter deep ditch-like construction. Massive ditch. Rampworks type thing, right? The vallum and the wall, more or less in parallel for almost the entire length of the wall. So there's a ditch to go with it, but the trouble is the ditch is again on the wrong side. If you're attacking towards me, I put the ditch on your side, so I'm up jabbing down on you. The ditches are on the wrong side of the wall. Another problem. So you could say, all right, perhaps they dug the earth to fill in the walls to make, that doesn't work either. It starts to get interesting, all right? Right, some evidence, Collingwood again, some evidence appears to show that the route of the wall was shifted to avoid the vallum. Again, this doesn't make any sense. It will in a minute. Possibly pointing to the vallum being an older construction. Oh, hang on a second. So he's saying the ditch and everything construction was there earlier. Right, so that can mean many things, but the two that spring to my mind. One, thing Alan Wilson said is correct, in that this vallum, ditch and what do you want to call that? Ramp, mound. What do you call it? Bank. We'll call it a bank, right? The ditch and the bank is, as described by Alan Wilson, that's what was done in the reign of Hadrian, or earlier. Then the wall came later with Severus, who was a British king. I was going back to that earlier thing about the British kings taking over. It's then British. The empire's run from Britain. Members of the British royal family, they're British kings. It's a British project in Britain, British people. What is, whatever Roman means, about it. So R.G. Collingwood, him again, 1930, so I've done disservice. He's this century, last century, not 2 centuries ago. So I'm going to... The vallum was built before the wall. He also questioned whether the vallum was in fact an original border. Well, actually, I take it back, Mr. Collingwood. I reckon it could be as well. Defining the end of Roman territory. Because there's no other borders in the world before the Romans turn up. Based on this consideration, the world should be viewed as a new replacement border built to strengthen the Romans' definition of their territory. Why we're assuming it's Roman, right? There's been a ramp and ditch which has been turned into a stone. But other bits show that the vallum sections became before the narrow wall. I'm going to cut to the chase a bit here, right? Because we're going round and round. You get the idea. They're all just guessing, right? Looking at different ways of it. We've been there, and we're looking at where the gaps are. They're not in the right place. The strong bits, the wide walls are up on the top of the cliffs, where it's almost impossible to attack. There's big gaps at the bottom, where the path is, where you would attack. It's totally messed up. This gets into fairyland now, okay? The garrison. Where did all these soldiers come from? 10,000. And this is regiments of auxiliary infantry and cavalry drawn from the provinces. I mean, it's fantasy. It's absolute fantasy. The only one I think they found is some Belgae troops, which with the research we've done and everything seem to be part of the British group anyway. In fact, the Belgae might have gone from Britain to Belgian mainland rather than the reverse. So it might have been part of an invasion into Europe. But either way, these thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And then you've got the thousands of people who built this wall. But as they were building it, they're also fighting off the whoever's north of the wall in those days. There's the battling going on because they've got to get it built really quickly. They've got to get really busy. So according to this is just crazy, right? The Vindolanda tablets, another crazy place, Vindolanda, which I haven't been to and go to next time. There's an inspection on the year 92 or 97. So remember, right, Claudius is supposed to come out 43, 44. He's definitely still fighting around the Welsh and that in 71. North of England, 80s and 90s. So who the heck built this wall or started building the wall? There's a full-blown war going on. You can't be stopping to get your buckets and spades out. All right? And we're talking hundreds if this thing is correctly dated. I think it's miles out anyway. Right, okay, anyway, so we got on the Scottish lowlands. You can read all this yourself. Caledonia. We get to Beda. Right, now then. Let's get back to the Bede quote. All right. Bede obviously identified, Gildas's stone wall. Oh, hang on, what does Gildas say then? Right, so then we got the Antonine wall above. Oh, here we go. Sorry, yes, here we go. Sorry, I almost missed a bit then. This Bede, which again, you have to remember, it's supposed to come out hundreds of years after he's supposed to have lived. By the way, it says Bede World up in the northeast. It's great. If he's on the Anglo-Saxon part of the story, there's Bede World or Better World. Whereas in South Wales, you can't get anything for any of the British ones. But there you go. Right, Antoninus was unable to conquer the northern tribes. So what they're saying is he went over the wall and they tried to beat up whoever was living in Scotland, built the Antoninus wall, couldn't hold the land, and returned. Right, and finally, the Emperor Septimus Severus, here he is. He comes into the story. Temporarily reoccupied the Antonine War. I'd like to know more about how they find all this out, because I've got loads of books from Romans and that. Anyway, I don't know how they get there. The campaign ended inconclusively, and the Romans eventually withdrew to Hadrian's Wall. The early historian Bede, 670s, following Gildas, wrote AD 730. Except nothing from Gildas, at least 500 years later. But anyway, we're going to take it treated like verbatim perfect. And the person who wrote it is probably Cadmon, by the way, which is a British name, because I'm not even sure the Angles had a written language at this point. Right, the departing Romans, that's in brackets, square brackets, has been added. All right, whatever he called them. Think that it might be some help to the Allies, the Britons, not the Allies. So who are they actually talking about? Whom they were forced to abandon, constructed a strong stone wall from sea to sea in a straight line between the towns that had been there built for fear of the enemy, where Severus had formerly built a rampart. Hang on, what's going on here? So now we're saying that the Romans built this, as they were departing, if we're going to go with the mainstream thing, which they talk about here, 400, and it's after Severus. So what's this got to do with Hadrian? But the usual thing, you see, if the evidence doesn't fit, you just change it or ignore it. Watch this. So Bede obviously identified Bede, idiot, fool. I know he's right most of the time when we take it word by word by word by word and don't doubt any of it, but it doesn't fit in this instance. He's stupidly got it wrong, right? So Bede, idiot, obviously identified Gildas's stone wall as Hadrian's wall, actually built in the 120s. Idiot. What did he know about it? And he would appear to have believed that the ditch and mound barrier, known as the Vallum, the Vallum is now the ditch and mound, just to the south of and contemporary with Hadrian's Wall. So they're trying to say they exist at the same time. You don't build both at the same time. There's a lot of work building a wall, or the ditch. Was the rampart constructed by Severus. Many centuries had passed before just who built what became apparent, before we got our story straight. Because what he's saying is that the stone wall came later. Put those dots back together again, right? This isn't the twist yet, by the way. In the same passage, Bede describes Hadrian's Wall as follows. It is 8 feet in breadth and 12 in height, and as we can see clearly to this day, ran straight from east to west. Bede, by his own account, lived his whole life in Jarrow. Except he didn't live his whole time in Jarrow because he went walking up and down the wall, apparently. Just across, which is 70 miles, but anyway, just across the River Tyne from the eastern end of the wall at Wall's End. So as he indicates, he would have been very familiar with the wall. Never left Jarrow a minute ago. What he does not say is whether there was a walkway on the top of the wall. It might be thought like that there was, but if so, it no longer exists. Okay, anyway, usual rubbish then about, the Romans had to leave. Now this is where it gets suddenly very, very weird. Right, hang on a second. Archaeologists have revealed that some parts of the wall remained occupied well into the 5th century. It has been suggested, so that means after the Romans, my goodness. It has been suggested that some forts continue to be garrisoned by local Britons under the control of a coil hen figure. Early Welsh tradition. So finally got a recorded character with dates and a name, and he's known as King Cole in popular culture. But he's kind of a bit vague, don't worry about him. And of course he has to be a 4th century leader in Roman or sub-Roman Britain. and the progenitor of several kingly lines. All right, so we're linking it now to the Britons at last. It's been suggested. Hadrian's Wall fell into ruin. Now this is where we get into the interesting part, because a big part of the Wilson Blackett story is around about 562. We had the comet, the most important event in the whole of British history, where everything got smashed to bits, particularly in England, and the war would have got wrecked as well in this situation. All right, so we get the vitrified forts in Scotland, the population disappearing, all sorts of things. All right. Keep with me now, we're almost there, okay? Hadrian's Wall fell into ruin, and over the centuries, the stone was reused in other buildings. Enough survived in the 7th century for spolia from Hadrian's Wall to find its way into construction of St. Paul's Church, where Bede was a monk. Alright, so this stone's turning up everywhere. This is the guy, John Speed. It starts getting interesting because we've got some of his maps already. Can you see some of the comments there? I can't quite see it. Thank you. That's about DNA. Okay. Right. Can you keep to the Hadrian's Wall if we can? I can't see again. He described it as the Picts Wall or Picts. So he's calling it the Picts Wall, right? So maybe the Picts built it. He's not calling it a Roman wall. It's not on the old maps as Roman wall. All right. A map drawn in 1610 by William Matthews, he calls it Severus's Wall. He doesn't call it Hadrian's Wall. I'm trying to find out when the idea of it being Hadrian's Wall began. Who started this idea? Because a part of a bit of dodgy Latin you're going to see in a minute. It's not called that on the old maps. It's not called that by the old people. And it gets worse, all right? Another idiot, look. Mistakenly, everyone's stupid in the past. We notice with the mainstream story, everyone in the past gets it wrong. Oh, another idiot. So he's wrong. Forget the name wrong. William Matthew, he's wrong. Mistakenly given it the name ascribed by Bede to the Vallum, which is the ditch. But we've decided the ditch comes before the war. So if Severus built the ditch, and the wall came later, then the wall, as also said by Bede, was 5th century or something. Right, ornamented with drawings, Roman finds, right, all this kind of stuff. Now this is the guy I was thinking of here, John Clayton. I'd like to know more about this. This is where the twist comes in, okay? Much of the wall's now disappeared. All right, fair enough. Long sections of it were used for road building 18th century, especially by General Wade to build a military road, most of which lies below the B6318, to move troops to crush the Jacobite rising of 1745. This is the crucial period we look at when British history, there's always rewrites. There's a big rewrite going on right now, as you know. Everything's being rewritten in our history. I don't need to go into that here. The big rewrite was round about 1700 when, after 1688, there was a coup. And the old Stuarts were kicked out, and then puppet kings were brought in from Europe. William and Anne and all those people, and eventually the Hanoverians, who went down really badly. The Germanic Hanoverians, risings, rebellions, whatever you want to call them. The Jacobites being the Stuarts trying to get back on the throne again. And the slaughter that went with all that, and also the rewriting of history, because what they realised was if they want to get control, they have to have us accept foreign German rulers. And a beautiful 3-card trick was played. The first trick was convincing the English that they were Anglo-Saxons rather than British, which has been so successful. Nearly all English think that now. The second part of the 3-card trick was convincing all Welsh, Irish and Scots that they were Celts when they were none of the thing. And man, Welsh, Scots and Irish love being called Celts. That was a propaganda genius. And the third card in the 3-card trick was if you're going to remove all the British history, you need to replace it with the Roman history, which is where these inventions come in. So the timing's very interesting, right? So this guy's actually destroyed the war. Apparently, this General Wade has taken... Man, that army's not moving very quickly. If you're marching off to war and building a road as you go, you're not making great progress. Got the Jacobite army running around the heather and they're building a road. Anyway, we'll give them all that, okay? Right, and this is where it gets interesting. John Clayton, here he is, right? He became enthusiastic about preserving the wall after a visit to Chester's. To prevent the farmers taking stones from the wall, he began buying some of the land on which the wall stood. In 1834, he started purchasing property around it. Anyway, he bought enough to own lots of the wall. This is where it all gets messed up. So he managed the farms, he made loads of money, he used the property. Here we go. He used his profits from his farms for restoration work. Restoration work. Workmen were employed to restore sections of the wall, generally up to a height of 7 courses. Go back to that video. You can look at the video I've shown you. This is right. The bits we're looking at are generally about 7 courses. Exactly. So there's me going, God, look at this. This used to be much higher. And these people have come along and looted bits of wall to make their other walls and houses, whatever they do with the stones. It's ridiculous, the idea they took an equal number of stones all the way along and end up with a flat wall, because this isn't the wall. What you see there is not the ancient Roman wall. When they say restored, they pretty much mean built. The stone's all been dragged down, there's nothing there. There's loads. I'm trying. Can you see the comments? Sorry, I'm thinking power things popped out. Sorry, I need to do that. If you can just get that back on then. Yeah. Now, the best example is exactly by weird coincidence, and I hadn't read this before the trip at all, of the Clayton Wall is at Housesteads, exactly where we were. So when we look at those walls, I feel very smug. Because I looked at it, that doesn't look more than a couple of 100 years old. Well, probably isn't, because it was done in the 1830s. So what he was going up to, I don't know. But you've got to be really, really careful here. Because there's even a painting here by William Bell Scott, which shows, just this thing anyway. It's like fantasy. The centurion has been given the face of John Clayton. There he is. This is brilliant. This is wonderful. Look at this picture. Come on, make it bigger, bigger, bigger. I want to zoom in. It's my favourite painting. I want it on the wall. So here's these. It's just a fantasy. On his face is this posh bloke from the 1830s, whatever, rebuilding his fantasy Roman wall. So I'm not thinking trying to dox anybody or catch anyone out. But when you say things like, I was liking dated, or it's this dated, or it's that dated, well, that's total a load of bullshit that is. Excuse my language on Sunday evening. Because the wall was built in the 1830s. How messed up is this, eh? Sorry, hang on. I had a real shock when I started reading this. It's amazing. And he's very enthusiastic about preserving the wall. And it's all part of the thing. But when they say preserve, you see, the problem is this is the legacy we're living with in all our academic studies now, is that you had these people in the 1800s, these very rich people, very full of confidence, and would have their pet theories and ideas, and they would act upon them. This is how hieroglyphs, you get these sort of public school, privately educated, and they would come up with a thesis or an idea, and they would do whatever they needed to do. It meant nothing to them to destroy. Like in Wales, you've got all the old churches, which some was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old. They could go all the way back to the very beginnings of Christianity, way before Catholicism started. 2nd, 3rd century, 1st century even maybe. But definitely going back to, 800s, 900s, were all pulled down as health and safety grounds. No, in the Victorian era, not that long ago, they're all dragged down. Drawings and that weren't even taken. They didn't fit. They had to go. So I was quite shocked at this. So my hypothesis is we have to be prepared to be flexible on a hypothesis as well, okay? Because I was on the site and said, this is ridiculous. The whole thing is only a ridiculous, 4 feet or something high, 4 or 5 feet, which doesn't make any sense at all. And Well, why would it? You know, they weren't stealing the walls off there. This bloke was putting the walls up. I have to see some of the comments. I've got to be careful because we've got a dodgy power cable if I pull it. There's a quick look. See some more comments there. Surprised Charlton Heston isn't in the picture. Next time we meet Lawrence the Druid, we should ask him an experiment. Yeah, the records are right. Oh, sorry, I don't know where that's missed a bit of that conversation. But why are some of the stones fused together? Excellent point. That's a very good point. Do you know which parts of the wall have the fused together stones? Because that would imply they were where they say they are in 562, if the comet theory is correct, wouldn't it? And I'm going to back up there again in a few weeks, spend some more time with Alan and go up to the wall. So, yeah. If you know where this... Well, I'll try and find them fused. Good point. And what I really need to find out as well, and if people out there can have a... Sorry, where's the camera gone? Have a research on it as well, is how much was rebuilt? You know, how much of what we're going to see is actually real? Because it's pretty clear the bit that I went to, Housesteads, that's fully renovated and restored, okay? What else we got here? It's funny, yes. All right, there's loads of comments. Thank you very much. If they dress like that in the UK, they're frozen. Yeah, it'd be very cold, this bloke, yeah, wouldn't he? Mind you, I think they're working hard as well. So that's one of the big twists. But anyway, it does continue a bit, actually. I'd like to find more about it. Later discoveries, 2021, workers from Northumbrian Water found a previously undiscovered 3-metre section of the wall while repairing a main in central Newcastle. What's he doing there? Now, the other thing which... So it's World Heritage Site. You can read the rest. Antonine Wall followed it. Right, although Hadrian's Wall declared a World Heritage Site in 1870, it remains unguarded, enabling visitors, guarded, people with machine guns on there, 70 miles of it, to climb and stand on the wall, although this is not encouraged as it could damage the historic structure, most of which was stuck up in the 1830s. So you're a posh bloke, you can move all the stones wherever you like and bring in new stones, build it up, do whatever you want. But heaven forbid if you walk on the wall. So which is ironic because that's what nearly everybody does, as I'll try and show you in a second. On 13th of March 2010, a public event illuminating Hadrian's Wall took place. So that was been fun. And the route was lit with 500 beacons, blah, 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 blah. All right, the connecting light. Right, oh, yeah. I almost missed this. Sorry. Here's one more little bit to do. Because you've got the Roman period names. This world, Valum, where that means war. Right, I'd like to look into that, someone there with the language thing. So I'm only come back today, I have a chance to go through all of it. Right, so there's a Kappa alloy pan. It's described with a series of names of Roman forts along the wall. Now, I'm going to quick look at this. I haven't translated them all, but it seems strange to me that the names look nothing like what they're supposed to read, which is weird. And this is supposed to be Hadrian's family name here, okay? Ailey is supposed to be his family name, alias. This is all extremely, extremely flaky. The word Hadrian doesn't actually appeal then. So what they're saying is that Valley Ailey is Hadrian's wall. It's very, very flaky. Even the fact it's called Hadrian. I'd say, oh, that's why I was staying Penwell. If none of it makes sense, all right? None of it makes sense. It gets weirder and weirder. Got your violin on?
Yes, yeah.
None of it makes sense. And the more we looked, I'll put the video up. You'll see there's loads of stuff just doesn't make sense as a... So I was trying to find a bit more video. Like this, to me, and one reason I was showing the video we filmed later. Go to that bit. Come on, computer. And you see it's having a good look and working out where all the bends are and that kind of stuff. And you got these single width walls, which is no good for anything, a little bit more than farmers' walls. So I suspected that these were new walls and they've been put up recently. And it seems pretty certain they have. They look exactly like the modern farmers' walls, to be honest. So there's a bit of a con going on here, to be blunt. And then you got this wonderful Roman excavated bit. And what I'd really like them to do is excavate the town around it. And let's find out who's really there. And they've got to be more clear and open on these visitor things. They've got to say which bits have been reconstructed. It's absolutely crucial. This is meaningless otherwise. Because if you remember, we went through the works of people like Collingwood. They've looked at it, and gone, oh, hang on, why is that there? Same as me and Bob were doing yesterday, and I'm going to be spending probably all week up there. Well, I might have a rethink now. I'll still go up there. I might go to other places. I especially want to go to Vindelandum and the forts and that. Is you start to think, well, why is that wall there, and why is that one thick, and why is that one thin, and why that's a gap? But it's a vision by this guy in the 1830s. So the only evidence is moot, really, because it's there we go. Right, okay, anyway, so there's a bit of a row going on in the comments. There we go. Calm it down, please. Let's be polite, please. Right, I see, sorry. I misunderstood. Thank you very much. Right, okay, so thank you very much. Lots of comments there. Big sheep in those days. They're Roman sheep, you see. They're Roman sheep. Alright, so there we go. So this is the bit you have to pay to go into there. If you think I'm going to have a little moan here because this is outrageous. So they did actually include 3 children on a family ticket, which is unusual. Normally it's 2 and you have to pay for the extra one. It was going to cost us £26 to go and have a little look at this bit. On what basis do they have that? Oh, the other thing I want to say as well. The other, I was quite keen to try and engage some of the guides and some experts there and everything. And my God, they were nice enough. They're all quite young. They got one thing they really want to do, the people who meet up there from National Trust, and is split. Where how did Bob put it? Because by my CADW membership, I also get membership of English Heritage, but we didn't have our cards with us, so we should be able to get in free. So we said, all right, if apparently you can look it up on the database and check our names, and then give us a free access. She turned around and just went, I have no idea how to do that. And the bloke next to her was the IT guy, something like that, and that was it. No attempt at all. Even to go into the museum, which is basically a shop, you have to pay admission just to go and see the Roman models and things. And I was thinking, on what basis are they charging us, Because they've already been given a grant to build all these things and staff them and all that kind of stuff. And as Bob says, it's like these volunteers doing their work and trying their best. Nothing against them, but the people at the top are making some big bucks out of this. And it's not nice what's happening. And to go back to my original point again, why is it this is all being dug extensively and archaeologists on and on and on again, and Vindelandum and all these places. Oh, sorry, you can't see what I'm looking at. Vindelandum and all these things. Yet we can't get any archaeology done at all, something like Caermead, or even at this site, where, according to their own tourist information, there are buildings for presumably British people, whoever was in this area at the time. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. The full video yet to come. I might have to talk an hour so call out the full one. No, it'll be all edited and it'll be pretty. There'll be a lot more pictures. If you can find a... I'm a little bit kicking myself still. I didn't take a picture of the notice board they have up there. So if you go up to House Stage, take a picture, please send it to me. I can remember the details with all of it. There's a little map. You've got the square in the corner. This is the barracks, 800. The garrison on that one, and then the other bits around it. See, it's sort of ooh. So you can't really see it there. Yeah, see, this map gives you a little bit of an idea around there. You see, this is the bit we're talking about. And as Bob said, this looks like being a road, and there's various buildings and settlements around here. But the only bit is the bit with the corners, because if you've got corners, it makes it Roman. Another thing which amuses me enormously. Right, I think we're just about there. It's late enough. I think I need to jiggle off to get to my bed soon. Oh, there was, look out for, I'm not sure it now, the video on the snake stone. That's going to be fun. What else do we have on here? Sign the petition. Yeah, remember to sign the petition. More research on the wall soon. Join the research. Yeah, have a look. See what you can think of. See if you can find some more information about when. I got a bit croaky now. That's no good because I'm going to sing a song in honour of Alan. I got all croaky. I'll be talking too long. Hang on a second. A song to finish. I'll try and get my voice back. One of the great things when we're there with Alan is... I have got a photograph of it. I'll have to show it next week. I took it with my phone. Because I did have a bunch of pictures here. Come on. Hang on a second. Bear with me. There's a few more from the party. Yeah. Right. These are going to be a bit random here. Alright, so I haven't looked through these, so I might put myself right in it. There's Alan at home. My boys were invading, opening loads of presents, so thank you to all the wonderful people, and David for paying for his dinner. David Mosley, thank you for that. And there's Alan having a great time, got loads of presents, cards. There's Baron with his foot up because he got his broken toe. That's really bad news. And you can see the smiling faces, having a laugh, bottle of whiskey. I think I got 2 or 3 bottles of whiskey, so... And the boys there, because they love opening things, so that was all great. There's Angie. Even Tony was happy and smiling, look at that. And there's lots of random presents. Alan was getting very happy before he had a shave. So they were I'm just snapping away randomly. I wanted to show you this though. So you got the violin out. And before you know it, I'm so upset I didn't record this. Alan started singing in Welsh. And it was absolutely superb. He's got a really good singing voice. And we joined in, we had a bit of a sing-along, doing some Welsh songs. That's outside his house. There's Arnie. God, that was me. Gee whiz, that was scary. I thought it was me for a second. Oh my goodness. That's Arnie, that's before we go off. And there's the meal. And the happy birthday thing you saw. And there's Bob, of course, having a chat, and Dave. So there you go. So it was all around brilliant. And I was going to do the song that Alan sang. And I'm going to try and sing. Only one verse, I think, Al. My voice is almost gone. If you want to join in, get a little bit of Calon. Are you ready on? You want to play us in?
I'll do a little intro.
Yeah, I'll sing in your key, I'll try. Do you want to come near to the mic? Nid o'n gofyn bywyd mwy ddys a'r y byd neu belai man. Gofyn oedd am galon hapus, galon ho, nes calon lan. Calon lan yn llawn daioni, dech ac yw na rili ddwys. Dim ond calon lan a'ch gani dydd, a chadi nos. Go, you one more verse, come on. Peder man yn holed bydol, Eden bu yn ganddo sydd. Golwyd calon lan rinweddol, and dwi'n beddol helw fi'n. Calon lan yn llawn daioni, tec ac yw na dilidos. Dim ond calon lan a'ch gani dydd a chani nos. Oh, da iawn, Arnie, very good. There you go. So I hope you let all animals escape the room before that came on there, okay? Right, there we go. So there we go. Hour and 40 minutes. Wow, that's going to be a shortened one tonight, so I hope you enjoyed that. He doesn't get better. Doesn't get better than this, or just doesn't get better, full stop. Thank you. Right, brilliant, bravo. Thank you. A bit of fun, isn't it? Hope you all joined in with that. To give you a chance to... Yeah, because there's 2 tunes. There's that other tune we used to do in chapel, isn't it?
Yeah, slightly different.
There's another tune which is so close. And I remember I got caught out a couple of times in the chapel when I'm singing the Calon Lan tune. Oh, what's the other one called? Someone will know on there, some clever person. There's an old Welsh song which is almost the same, and sometimes when we're singing it off the cuff like this without the music, kind of drift into it, don't we? Dee 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 dee. It's like that, isn't it?
Something to do with Jesus' blood or something.
Yeah, it's another church song, another chapel song, Canny Chapel. Right, well, thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for being with me. I can see everyone stayed online with me. Wow, there we go. That's fantastic. Right to the end. So much stuff coming up the next week, too. I've got to put the Tarrant Doysent video up with a great exploration there. And we found another video. We got Arthur and Scandinavia. Yeah, we'll do that follow-up. Trojan War. Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah. Someone has managed to get hold of Steve Strange, who's the guy in Australia who's basically got the access and everything to the Gosford glyphs, which is hieroglyphs, Egyptian-style hieroglyphs in Australia. So I'm going to be having a look at that. He sent me loads of pictures, which look translatable to me. I mean, I've just had 2 minutes, so we're going to come back to that one. And another one, which I've already done a video, edited it and everything, so it should go up tomorrow, this is going to sound... Where's my hat? Oh, I was out in the hall. I made an Indiana Jones hat because... with Graham and Tim and that, we found a snake temple. I mean, a full-on, proper, ancient, it's Indiana Jones stuff. It's through the woods, it's up, climbing on a cliff, the whole thing. Got it all filmed. Look out for that. All right, look out for Snake Temple. Man, it's like an Indiana Jones film. You would swear we were in deepest Peru or out in the jungle somewhere. Okay, I said deepest Peru because we're watching Paddington. Oh, there you go. Right. I used to give him the same tune for 3 out of 5 hymns using my chapel book. Very good. That's the Welsh born with big lungs, all those hills to climb. Beautiful singing. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. Oh, yeah, and also, of course, I just want to say hello again, once again, to all those people who were at the meal. So thank you very much, David, Mary, also known as Meg W, who's on there, I hope, and her lovely husband, John, who I had a lovely long chat with. Then Bob, Steve, and Lindsay. I think I mentioned you earlier. I'm like double certain I did, because I really appreciate everything you said, especially one little comment which Mary dropped in, which is what she wants to know when the musical's going to happen. And that was so nice, because no one seems to want the musical except me. And it's going to happen some point. Most of the songs are written, all right? Yeah? And he's not keen. You're in it, Arnie.
Oh, what?
Yeah, you're in it, mate. You want to be in the middle, I don't know, something. What do you want to be? Spear carrier. All right. All you are, that's the nearest I've got to an acceptance. I usually like to play off screen, like, you know, off stage. Right, fantastic. Okay, well, I was going to put a song up at the end while we went out. Never mind. Let's. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to do. Right. Oh, I know Arnie. Arnie's so keen to knock the camera out and go to bed. It's wonderful. It's good to see one to go to bed on. I'm going to. No, that's good. Well, you got school tomorrow. It's very sensible. Yeah, just. What do you call it? Call me a clown. It's terrible, isn't it? I got my boots of bootiness on.
Just get Urban Jungle.
Hang on. I got to watch this in a second. I have got this little video to play out. And you have to put more of me singing. So if you want to go now. Quick. Go. But if you haven't seen this video, don't forget to sign the petition. Right, I'll do the Heddiw. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the video on, you know? The Beth and Galu, the turbines. Don't forget to sign the petition, please.
Oh, yes, your pop song.
My pop video, yes, it's going to be huge, man. It's going to be millions. You got millions. So do the video first, or
Yeah,
video first? All right, okay. That's very kind of you, Hon. If you haven't seen this, some argues better without the volume. These are 70-meter hot ones, right? Sing along, folks. School gross. Yeah, school. Yeah, what? I'm going to talk of myself saying, yeah, the school insisted on putting this trip down as a holiday. I didn't have a big argument, that doesn't really matter, you know. It's sent them all the time these days. But I was trying to say, we're off to see one of the greatest historians live. Learn from them, listen to him. I had a long chat to Alan, it was great. They got really well. And then we got to Hadrian's Wall. I think it counts as a field trip, doesn't it, rather than holiday? There you go.
Destroy paradise, spirit we waiting to late one night, hear the turbines drone. Be too late, then go boiling heaven and
down a bit, doesn't it? Alright. Yay! Alright, remember to sign the petition. Right, there we go. Thank you very much. Alright, good night to everyone. Till next time, peace and love to everyone. I was in Welsh, peace. Then we do Cariad as well. Cariad is love. Got to keep those vibrations high and sending out the love and supporting each other, okay? And everything good. Only good things will happen because we're going to let good things happen, okay? Till next time, Heddiw. Oh, I got to press the button. Oh, I'm so slow. I think I press the right button. What have I done, hon?
Oh dear, I can't tell the lag.
No, it's gone. What's happened?
You're on this screen.
It shouldn't be.
You're because
Oh,
you
that
pressed
one.
the wrong button.
You're
There
going
we go.
to be rude to me again. Right. You can't make jokes on the internet anymore anyway. Got my boots of bootiness and I'll sort you out, sunshine. Right, good night all. And, yeah. I was thinking, I'm unplugging that. I'll leave the chat on for 10 minutes or so, okay? And then people want to say goodbye and finish their discussions and exchange their love. Send each other good messages and love. Remember to sign and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Tell your friends. Please share the petition and all that kind of jazz. And we'll see you again soon.